Here we were, my uncle and I, who was driving, was going down the road, and we got off the interstate to get some gas. We stopped to get some gas, and I saw her sitting right there. She was fine. She was all wide body, all thick. She was looking good. They had just released her in late 2005. It was a 2006 Dodge Charger. It had this stone white look about it, and it had the leather gray interior, and that thing just seemed to glisten. Those alloy wheels, it was just shining. And soon, I couldn't wait to get finished pumping that gas. I couldn't wait. I went ahead and paid for the gas and drove my little plucker over there across to the car lot. Me and my uncle was like, man, that thing look good. Don't it look good? Man, it look good, man. We were walking around and everything, and before you know it, somebody walked up on us, kind of throwed us off, which, you know, every time you go to the car lot, you know, at least back then, somebody's gonna pop up. And here it is, this guy with this 100-teeth smile just walked up to me. He was just, hey, y'all in the market for a car? I said, nah. Life was good at this time. I had a new home, had rental property. The business was doing good. Matter of fact, that day we had just dropped off some goods and just getting that check, getting paid. We was gonna be on our way to the bank. But this car right here, it was like, man, I like this car. And when I stepped back and I looked at it, I looked at my uncle. He said, you like this? I said, yeah, man, I really like this car, man. And I said, let's test drive it. He said, hey, man, why not? Let's test drive it. Okay. So he said, okay, I'll go get the keys. And we walking around the car, checking out the car. And this, you didn't see these on the road like you see now. This car was like a retro/new, where retros meet current time at the time. It's 2006. Man, it was a beautiful car. Came out with the keys, and we took it around the block, and I just felt in communion with that car. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, And I said, I'm getting this. Uncle says, you for real? I said, yeah, I'm getting it. He said, you deserve it. You know, all your stuff, you know, is paid for, and, you know, you work hard, you make good money. Sometimes you gotta treat yourself. I said, no, I'm getting this for my baby. Because she was pushing around an old Ford Windstar van, her and the kids, and had a few problems. I had to put a new engine in it, different stuff like that. And it's a Ford, that's all I gotta say. But anyway, so I said, let me get her out of that old mint green Ford Windstar. And he said, man, she gonna love this. She gonna love this. I said, yeah, I gotta get her this, man. This compliments her. And so did the paperwork, finished out the paperwork, got in there, and man, that drive, man, we took the long country road back home. My uncle followed me, and he said, he even called me on the phone. He texted me, he said, man, you looking good in that car, man. I said, man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. This car feels so nice, man. I haven't driven a new car. Matter of fact, well, we had one car. That was my first new car I bought. And man, that thing was nice. It drove so smooth, and the acceleration was just like fluid. And I said, okay, this is real nice. But I said, this is for my Gigi. This is for Gigi. And I drove it, and we came into the neighborhood. We lived in this, excuse me, we lived in this neighborhood. Like I said, the house maybe like 1 or 2 years old, brand new house, still smelled new. Neighborhood still was new. Had community, lake, pond, all that kind of stuff. One of them planned communities. Drove up in there and drove up in my driveway. I hit the garage door opener. Garage door went open. And I saw my wife come to the kitchen door. And she looked out the window, and I flicked my lights at her, you know what I'm saying? She didn't know who I was, but then when she saw my uncle drive up in my car, she was like, so she came out, And there go my girls, step girls, they came out. And they were like, oh, wow, look at that car. Oh, man, wow, look at the car. And I got out the car, man, my chest was bigger, higher than the mountains, man. I felt good, man. And then I said, hey, baby, I love you. And I jingled the keys in front of me, you know. And I said, hey, baby, I love you. Here you go. She said, are you serious? I said, yeah, I done did that thing. I done did it. She said, oh, are you serious? I said, yeah. I said, it's just for you, babe. And she gave me the biggest hug and the biggest kiss. And then the girls, they said, they ran out there, and next thing you know, I said, y'all get in, man. If a father don't feel like a father, it's just making and taking care of your family, man. It's just something about it. It's just a high that you want time and time again. It just makes you want to just go get it. And yeah, I was feeling proud, feeling confident, you know what I'm saying? And we went on, and man, we took a lot of trips in that car. We went to the beach. We went on rides across the South. We went up north. We did a little bit of everything, man. We enjoyed the car. But you know, with every good story, there's a downfall. So fast forward. It was about around 2010 now. Had the car for a couple of years. Maybe going on 3 years or something like that, maybe 9, 10. And by that time, I was struggling. Not only health-wise, but financially. I was struggling bad. It was times I couldn't get out of bed. It was times I didn't get out of bed. And sometimes it was for days, and I didn't know why. Never really been sick or anything like that. Couldn't understand. What's going on with me? What's wrong? Lack of energy. Lack of motivation. I've never been like this. I've never been in a place like this before in my life, right? And I'm trying to figure out what in the world going on. Meanwhile, business was still trying to be business. But I was watching during that time, as you all know what happened in '08 all the way through. And some of the people, they didn't just get hit in '08. It just kind of slowly crept up on some people. It took 2 to 3 years. And I was watching my retirement account go from well over 6 figures to double digits in a matter of a month or two. It was crazy, man. Never seen nothing like that. The news wasn't helping. All the media wasn't helping. They was pumping up about how the economy and we in a recession, and it was just a depressing time. People were losing their jobs. Plants were closing. Just the town I was in, I know at least 5 or 6 major plants closed. I'm talking about major plants closed. Tire company, pharmaceutical company closed. A candy distribution company closed. We talking about thousands upon thousands of jobs just like overnight. It was like a domino effect. But here I was trying to grapple with that, and I got behind on my car payment. Never been behind on my car payment. You know, always paid extra, never paid the basic. But here I was struggling through this situation, and really wasn't a lot of money coming in, but then I had a lot of money going out. I was still getting work, but struggling to get it fulfilled, struggling to get it done. They had turned around. I was leasing out one of my homes, one of my rental properties. All of a sudden, they left. Didn't know they left until I didn't see 1 or 2 payments, and then I'm like, what's going on? And then so I go down, because it was in Florida. I was living in Georgia. And I went down to Florida, went to the location, because he wasn't answering the phone or anything like that. And I found my keys inside the house. And no note, no nothing. It was, from that point on, I know I was going down a spiraling point of, I don't know. Fast forward in the business, contracts, I had government contracts, I had county contracts, everything started shutting down. I had blanket POs, and they were saying, one thing I learned about blanket POs, they may say they're gonna spend this much, and over the years they spent that much. We always had to add to the blanket POs. It was never like the blanket POs were pretty much a check that was just waiting for me. But this time, they said, yeah, that's just a blanket PO. We don't have any orders. We don't want to place any orders. Government contract, they start canceling some of the contracts. And it was just a spiral effect. My job did cutbacks. It was just everything. You know, I had issues with my job, and I was left to the part where no longer working, no longer employed. And I'm like, what's the world coming to? What's going on? So one night I was laying in my bed, and I've been getting calls after calls about everybody wanting money for the house, money for the other house down in Florida. My business needed bills paid. It was just disastrous, and it was just making my health feel like I had this weight that I couldn't get rid of me, and I was just like just exhausted. I would go to the bathroom and just feel like I just need to go lay down. And it was just a disappointing situation. But I remember I tried to give certain collectors a portion of the money that I owed. They didn't want it. They wanted the whole thing or nothing. They wanted the whole thing or nothing. And then it got so bad with my charger that they wanted the whole thing, actually the balance or nothing. And I said, but I got I was down like 3 payments. I said, I got almost 2 payments right now. Let me send you these 2 payments. They said, nah, we came to the part where either we're going to give you this much time, either you pay the whole thing or we repossess it, or you turn it in. And I was like, nah. So I'm thinking, never been in this situation before, but I'm thinking, if I can get up those 3 payments and send them 3 payments, we can keep on going. You know, me not naive, not knowing, never been in this situation. I always paid my bills. And so here I am, sitting here, trying to figure out what's going on. Eventually, we go to bed, months pass. I'm almost there. I'm almost at them 3 payments. I almost got my 3 payments. And then all of a sudden, it's 2:30 in the morning. And I hear some boom, 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 knocking at my door. I'm talking about heavy-handed knocking at my door. And it startled me. I'm waking up in the middle of the night like, what the world going on? And boom, boom, boom. So I jumped up, didn't put on no clothes and no nothing. You know, I'm going to the front door. And I go to the front door. I peek through the hole, and it's this big old guy and this little frail guy standing next to each other. And they almost like it's semi-police, but it wasn't. They had this little outfit. He had a vest on and everything, you know, but it was kind of like black and blued out, dark navy blued out. And I didn't know what this was. I didn't know what it was or who it was. And I said, who is it? And he bamming on the door. I said, you better stop bamming on my door. And then he was like, open it up. He said, is this Eco? I said, yeah, this is Eco. What's going on? He said, let me talk to you for a minute. I said, go ahead and talk. He said, I need to talk to you. And then I was like, no, And he's like, I know you got that 2006 Dodge Charger. It's in the garage. I know it. I done peeked in the window. I said, you better stay away from my house. You better get off my doorstep. By that time, Gigi was behind me. She was like, what's going on? What's going on? The children getting up. They trying to figure out what's going on. And I said, these cats out here trying to get the car. I said, I ain't finna give it to them. Not finna do it. She was like, babe, you been stressing about that car payment? I said, I'm not finna get these folk these cars. They're gonna have to catch me in the streets because I ain't finna give them this car. I said, I'm gonna get it right. Give me maybe about to 3 or 4 more days. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna get up the rest of that money and I'm gonna give them that money and then we'll be back solid. Trust me. She said, then what happened next month? I said, babe, I got this. And meanwhile, I'm in a quiet neighborhood. They got this old raggedy, loud sounding truck, and it's just in my driveway. I said, you need to get your truck out my driveway. So he walked off, and he said, we ain't leaving till we get the car. I'm just letting you know. And this old good, quiet little neighborhood, we're gonna wake everybody up, let everybody know. You know, I had been in the neighborhood for a while, got to know the people. Matter of fact, across the street from me was one of my classmates that I graduated high school with. And I'm like, this is frustrating. I'm pissed off. I'm embarrassed. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? She said, my wife said, just give him the car. Because I don't want to go through this every night or every month. And I could see the disappointment in her face when I looked at her. And I could see me feeling like less than nothing, you know what I'm saying? And I was just disappointed within myself. I was disappointed within the situation. And I'm like, but I got this for you, babe. She said, I don't even care about that no more. She said, I don't drive it. It just sit in the garage. I still drive the Ford. And I said, man. She said, just give him the car. They're going to wake up everybody. Just give him the car. So, opened up the door, went and got some car. I said, give me a minute. Went out there and I told him, man, you ain't got to do all that. Man, cut that truck off, man. Go on, cut the truck off. I'm finna give you this car. He went over there, he wobbled over there and got up in the truck. And when he reached up in the truck and shut it off. And I'm talking about it didn't have no exhaust. When I tell you that truck didn't have no exhaust, it was 2:30 in the middle of the morning. Truck didn't have no exhaust. By that time, almost all the lights were on in the neighborhood. And it was just an embarrassing situation, man. Embarrassing situation. But nevertheless, went ahead. I said, let me get my stuff out the car. He said, yeah. You say, you know, I hate to do this, man, but we had to get this car, man. We've been following y'all for a minute. Knew it was in there. We just could never catch it at the right time. And I said, man, you ain't got to explain nothing. You got to do your job, and I'll get it, and this and that. But you gonna find yourself getting hurt banging on people's door like that middle of the night. And he was like, yeah, he said, I take a chance. And he said, but at the same time, it's successful. Especially in the neighborhood, especially in a little community. I said, you better be careful with that, because that can get you hurt. And we went to talk, and the next thing you know, man, by the end of the situation, we were talking and laughing and just sharing some things and some stories and stuff like that. And then my wife was looking the whole time. She was like shaking her head. And it ended up where we was all good at the end of it. Once I realized that this is done, and then they drove off into the night with my car and that loud truck, and it was done. And I looked at my wife, and we looked at each other, and we both did just like this. We hadn't did that in a while. We hadn't taken a deep breath like that in a while. And it felt good. Although I was disappointed, but it felt good. It felt like a burden was lifted. And no, I don't promote getting your car repossessed. But in the midst of that bad moment, I felt a gentle touch of comfort and relief. And I looked at my wife and said, I'm sorry, baby. She said, it's all right. She said, we'll get another one. I said, you damn right. We're going to get another one. Yeah. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. The world doesn't end just because you work for something and you lose it. Your world doesn't end just because you try to do everything you could do and it wasn't enough. Sometimes in life, when you go through these situations, you learn a lot from it. You learn a lot of life lessons, and you can recover. Matter of fact, my next car was an S-Class. Next car I bought was an S-Class Mercedes-Benz. Let you know what God will do. Sometimes you have to turn loose, let go, so you can open up your hands for bigger and greater things. Although I'm not proud of it, but they did what they got what they had to do. They took the car, they sold the car, left a balance, ended up paying the balance, which wasn't that much because I paid extra payments and I paid good when I was paying. But in scheme of the thing, it was well worth going through that process to letting go than it was to holding on. Because I still would have had another 3 more years of trying to struggle and battle. But guess what? We sat at the table that morning when we got up that morning, and we were sitting having breakfast. And my wife looked at me, she said, you know we still got them 2.5 car payments. I said, yeah. She said, we ain't broke, babe. Now we got some extra money to take care of some things we need to take care of. I said, you're right, babe. You're right. I said, but I'm gonna get you another car. And that's why I said the next car I got was a S-Class Mercedes-Benz. But this time, Joker, it was 85 grand, but I paid for it cash. That was a lesson that I learned. They didn't come get that one, my friend. Oh, well, you know, in life, things happen, but you got to move on. You cannot let things get you down. You cannot let this world get you down. And don't let your value be determined by what you got, but who you are, okay? So, hope y'all stay well, stay blessed, and don't forget to keep on growing. Grow.